Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric. If you've seen any video about theme parks before, more than likely, something you've come across is about the scariest rides in the world. Generally, I don't think these are very accurate. They're based on how tall or fast something is, or, oh my gosh, it goes backwards. Which is fair, those are somewhat scary. If you have a fear of heights, that's totally understandable that would be why you find that the scariest ride. But I think generally these are not based on actual experiences on the rides, and people making those videos are going in for a bit of a clickbaity route. And maybe this is the same, because every ride I'm about to talk about is safe. However, I've been on them, and they give the feeling of, I might not make it off this ride, might get thrown out of the seat, something like that. And that's not really a super common feeling. I normally feel very secure, but there are a couple of rides out there where after riding them, I truly believe there was at least one moment where it seems like you could have easily flown out. This has never happened, these rides are perfectly safe, but I'm going to talk about 3 rides today that I think truly live up to what made theme park rides popular in the first place, and that being the possibility of, are we gonna make it or not? So let's begin. The first I want to discuss is perhaps the least expected one. This is Phoenix at Knoebels. This wooden roller coaster, it's very old, but it's well maintained and not rough at all. So that is not why. It has a scary tunnel in it, but that's also not what makes it scary. The thing that sets this ride apart, for me at least, is the restraints. This has a lap bar known as a buzz bar. It is not unique to this roller coaster, but of the ones I've been on, it is the scariest here. For those who don't know, the buzz bar is barely a restraint. It will not come down to your legs like many lap bars do. It pretty much just comes down to the start of your torso. Not even, maybe. It's not the most tight restraint by any means. It's barely securing you at all, it seems. And on a roller coaster that's just kind of slow and simple with not a lot of turns, that is not something that would be too scary. However, Phoenix throws you out of your seat several times, and it's some of the most aggressive airtime of any wooden roller coaster I've been on. So every time, you're getting pretty much to that buzz bar as you're thrown out of your seat, and it feels like, oh wow, this could be enough to get me flung out. And while this is the least scary of the 3 for me, I still find the complete lack of restraint on this incredibly thrilling, full of negative G-force roller coaster to be a very scary experience. More so than anything on the tallest and fastest roller coasters. So let's move to the next ride. This one is not a roller coaster, and is perhaps the most conventional for this kind of list. Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Falcon's Fury is a drop tower. It is 335 feet tall. That is already pretty scary. And when you get near the top, these seats tilt inwards so you are facing the ground. This is all scary. However, it's not really what terrifies me most about this ride. When the tilt happens, yes, you're looking down, but more importantly, your body is no longer in the back of the seat. Unless the restraint is extremely tightened, which it very rarely was for me, even when I tried. I fall a bit forward, and I feel like I'm using all of my might to stay in the seat and not fall through. This is a genuinely scary experience, and of all the drop towers I've been on, it's the most terrifying. I saw a case for putting Zumanjaro Drop of Doom on here because it is attached to Kingda Ka, so when the roller coaster goes by, the whole thing shakes. But it just doesn't quite compare to the feeling of falling forward into the seat, knowing that if it doesn't hold, that is a 300-foot drop. And the one other ride I want to discuss is also one that's technically pretty common for this sort of video, Steel Venom at Valleyfair. If you've seen this sort of list, you've probably seen Wicked Twister mentioned. Wicked Twister is an intimate impulse coaster, and oh my gosh, it goes backwards. Yes, indeed. It launches forwards and backwards, going up these spikes, and at the top of the spike, there's nothing. And you do get pretty close, so I can understand why that would be scary, but that's not really what makes Steel Venom special. Steel Venom is different from every other Intimate Impulse I've been on, because it has a holding brake on the backward spike. What does this mean? Well, after the second launch, for a moment, you stop. And for a full second, you're sitting there, and because this ride is fairly fast, you fall into your seat forward like Falcon's Fury, but this one is arguably even scarier because you fall with a much greater speed. It's a quick moment, but that pause is everything on this ride. And it's scarier than something like Superman Escape from Krypton, because, first of all, that does not have a holding brake, and second, this seating is inverted roller coaster. So instead of sitting in a nice comfortable car, where if you fall forward you're still kind of in the car, this, you're completely exposed with only an over-the-shoulder restraint to save you. So, I believe that this is by far the scariest of the Intimate Impulse coasters, and one of few roller coasters that truly gives you the sense of, wow, this is a scary, terrifying experience, where it does feel like you might not make it off. And those are the three I wanted to discuss. There are definitely others I could talk about in future videos. If you enjoy this one, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what roller coasters and rides you think are the scariest, and subscribe for more theme park content. I'll see you next time.